Tombstone calls The Wolf of Wall Street one of the best movies of the year.
Oh!
Scorsese's filmmaking is lethally hilarious.
You got untie me.
I can't untie you. The captain tied you up. He was phasing you. Why?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Trying to make a name for ourselves.
Jonah Hill.
$26,000 for one dinner.
Tell them about the size.
What, did it cure cancer?
The sides did cure cancer. That's the problem.
The Wolf of Wall Street. Rated R.
The show goes on.
December 25th.
Hello and welcome to Time About the Movies. If you didn't follow yesterday's video, you saw that we're dealing with a lot of electrical issues here. We apparently have a bad circuit breaker. That's the good news. We figured out what the problem is. The bad news is we can't get a new one until Tuesday morning. So because of that, I'm going to really have to limit as much time using as much electricity as I can. So that's why I'm doing this right now, about 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. So I want to try to get something out there for you for the next couple of days. But if it has to be this, so be it. But I should be able to do movie stop episodes because I'm going out later today. I gotta go see Anaconda later, so I'll try to get a review for that later in the day, hopefully with some electricity in the air. But yeah, needless to say, the next couple of days are not going to be pretty for me. So, but yeah, that's one kind of in a bummer mood to start this off here. And I wanted to talk about, especially this week, because this was an important week in my life, because this was the week when the Reviewing Network website officially came to be, December 25th, 2013, after Spill.com shut down. You know, this is when it all began, but you know, this is what's going on right now with the electricity and the bad circuit breaker and all that. That's kind of bumming me out here. But I'm gonna pull through because we have to get through this. I'm already wasting a lot of your time. We have 7 movies to look at today, so let's not waste any more time and just get right to it. This is Time About the Movies. This is the last weekend of 2013, December 25th, Christmas Day 2013, and we begin with the biggest of the new releases, Martin Scorsese's latest, The Wolf of Wall Street. In it, Leonardo DiCaprio plays Jordan Belfort, a Long Island penny stockbroker who served 20 months in prison for defrauding investors in a massive 1990 security scheme that involved widespread corruption on Wall Street, and is the corporate banking world, including shoe designer Steve Madden. The movie has had a lot of controversy over the last few months because of the runtime issues. When it came out, I should say, not now, but when it came out, it had controversy because there was a lot of the runtime issues. The most notable controversies including using the F word, orgy scenes, very raunchy material. Just stuff that would make grandma have a heart attack, pretty much. But as far as the movie goes, I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I really did enjoy it. For a director like Martin Scorsese, it's great to have a guy that still hasn't resorted to settling down and just taking whatever script comes his way and makes the same movie over and over again. Ridley Scott. But Scorsese is a guy who, he's made many different types of movies for different genres and different audiences, and usually will put his heart and effort into every single one of them, and this one is no exception. The cast is top-notch. DiCaprio is clearly having a time of his life playing Jordan Belfort, and I thought he was great in this movie, although I will say I liked his performance as Jay Gatsby better in The Great Gatsby earlier in the year, but I mean, that's just my personal take on that. But Jonah Hill really is coming into his own as an actor, not just being the typical, there's the funny guy and there's the funny fat guy. No, he's actually putting in a lot of effort into these movies. Like Moneyball, for example, is another great one which shows off his true potential as a dramatic actor. And here, he's really good here. He actually did a good enough job to get a supporting actor Oscar nomination. And, you know, it's not hard to see why, but the big standout of the movie, obviously, is Margot Robbie, who plays his wife for the majority of the film, because not only is she gorgeous to look at, but she really gives a solid performance in this. And I've always liked her. I've liked her in a lot of stuff. I liked her on the short-lived show Pan Am. I liked her in Midnight in Paris, About Time. Like, she's really good in the movie, and, like, hey, you get to see her butt-ass naked, too, so that's a win-win on everyone's part, too. But, yeah, like, she looks unbelievably sexy in this movie, and not only that, she can act her ass off. But you also get great performances from Kristen Milotti from How I Met Your Mother. This was back when she was around, she was known for that, but, you know, she's great in this. Matthew McConaughey has a great brief role in here. So you got Kyle Chandler, the late Rob Reiner, Jon Favreau, John Barenthal, Drew Jardine, Joanne Lumley, Spike Jonze, Ethan Suplee. A solid cast all across the board in here. For a movie that's 3 hours long, it moves at a good enough pace that you don't even realize you've been sitting there for 3 hours. I mean, towards the end, yeah, there's a couple points where it could have easily ended, but it doesn't. But it doesn't, and they're very few and far between, so you really don't notice it when it's all said and done. The over-the-top scenes are so hilarious to watch. I mean, this gets insane for no reason whatsoever, and I don't think that I've never seen the director's cut of this. I've only seen the original cut, but I've heard the director's cut is so crazy overall. And I mean, what do you mean? I've heard. I'm thinking to myself, have they actually put out a director's cut of this? I'm trying to think. No, it is still yet to be officially released. I just looked right now, and yeah, I would have liked to see that 4-hour cut. Let's see how crazy this movie would have gotten, because it probably would have been even crazier than I think anybody would have expected it to be. But bottom line, this movie is freaking amazing, man. It's one of the strongest movies of the year. It's definitely one of Scorsese's stronger films in the last couple of years. Probably my favorite one since The Departed. The cast sells it. The runtime is good. Is for the most part carefully handled. The story is very understandable, and the out-of-control moments are just so nicely handled. This is a terrific, terrific film. I can't recommend this puppy enough. The Wolf of Wall Street's great. Speaking of really good movies this Wolf of Wall Street was a big hit. This one, sadly, not so much. Ben Stiller's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
This is Walter's secret life. I'm Walter Mitty. This holiday season, he'll stop dreaming and start living.
You're in Iceland.
I'm looking for Ayfchalakute.
The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Rated PG.
So I've kind of already touched on a video on this earlier in the year, so if you want to go check that out, I'll leave a link to it in the corner. But this is a movie that's basically a remake of a classic movie from the 40s about a daydreamer who's 40s or 50s, but it's a daydreamer who escapes his anonymous life by disappearing into a world of fantasies filled with heroism, romance, and action. When his job, along with that of his co-worker, played by Kristen Wiig, are threatened, Walter takes action in the real world, embarking on a global journey that turns into an adventure more extraordinary than anything he could ever imagine. Like, if you want to see the visual inspiration for Severance came from, this is the movie to really show it with here. This is an impressive feat for Ben Stiller to really delve into some unique territory here. The casting is great. He's great playing the main character in this, giving probably one of his best performances overall. I know that trailer. I'll say this: the trailers on TV really do a bad job of selling the movie, which probably is why the movie didn't do as well as it should have. But yeah, Ben Stiller's not that obnoxious in this movie. Kristen Wiig I thought was pretty good as the love interest here. I like a chemistry with Stiller. Adam Scott giving another great villainous performance in this. Like he really makes it work. Sean Penn's really good in here, giving one of the stronger performances of his career. Shirley MacLaine, Catherine Hahn, Patton Oswalt. I mean, this is a really, really good cast in this movie with a really good setup here. The fantasy sequences are excellent. The transitions, these are seamless. They all work really well. There's one in particular that doesn't work that well, but it's just one out of a couple. So yeah, you take what you can get here. The cinematography is top-notch here. I thought the ending worked really, really well. I thought it was really well done. And it was one of those ones where I came out of it going like, I didn't really know how to feel about this ending. I thought it was mostly not that good. But once I got around to it and once I thought about it more, I did find myself enjoying it a lot more than I could have imagined. The only thing I didn't like about it was that one dream sequence where it's literally a parody of The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It feels really unnecessary. Just like it didn't feel like it needed to be in there. It felt like Ben Stiller didn't take his own medicine by looking at Tropic Thunder and saying, is with the Simple Jack thing and all that. It's just like, I want to do a movie. I want to do something like that. Except I want to do it with Benjamin Button. That's what I kind of felt like with that part in particular. But I mean, it's a movie that I'm baffled a lot of people are mixed on, because this is a really, really damn good movie. A very underrated film. And like I said, it's a precursor to what Ben Stiller would bring to the table with Severance later on, because you can see a lot of influences from this movie in that show. And Severance is a great show overall, but like I said, I've touched on this in greater length, so if you want to go check that out, link will be in the corner. So anyway, that's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. So let's go ahead and get to a film that was not a success when it came out, and really when you look at it, it's not hard to see why. 47 Ronin.
Their army is infinite.
We are 47.
We end this now.
Your world will burn.
47 Ronin. Rated PG-13.
even the trailer announcer sounds like he's desperately trying to appeal to a specific group, to a specific audience by talking like a Japanese stereotype. It's like rated PG-13. Like, did you notice that at the end of that? Or maybe that was just me. I don't know. But this is 47 Ronin. This is a movie that is a work of Chushiguna, the Treasury of the Lord of Retainers, a fictionalized account of the 47 Ronin, a real-life group of masterless samurai in 18th century Japan who are avenging the death of their daimyo, Asano Naganori, by battling his rival Kira Yoshinaka. Starring Keanu Reeves in the leading role, which probably is your first mistake right there. Why are you casting Keanu Reeves for a role like this? But alongside Hiroko Sanada, Tanabe Asano, Riko Kikuchi, and Ko Shibashika, the film bears little resemblance to its historical basis compared to previous adaptations, and instead serves as a stylized interpretation such as it's set in a world of witches and giants. And there's your first mistake right there. Just the whole idea of this movie is really, really stupid, and they take something that could make for a good movie, but it's not. It's a movie where it's just such a colossal mess on so many levels. It's a dull movie. There's nothing of interest happening here. It's way too long. Like, this is the opposite of The Wolf of Wall Street, where you know you're sitting in here for way too goddamn long. It's just like, come on, man, wrap this shit up already. It's so bad that the people of Japan turned this movie down. This thing didn't do shit in Japan. It was a massive flop there. It was a massive flop here in the States, even though it did make at least it made back. It didn't even make back its $175 million budget. It was close. It was about $150 million. But then again, you wouldn't expect much from the director who's literally going to jail next year for defrauding, for money laundering and wire fraud. Yeah, Carl Lynch is the director of this movie. And if you don't know, Netflix had hired him to direct this big project for them. And he was arrested and charged in a 7-count federal indictment. And the prosecutors accused the director for defrauding Netflix of $11 million and spending the money on personal expenses. And he was basically sent to jail for money laundering and wire fraud. He's going to get sentenced in April. I just saw this now, but it's just like, man, talk about the definition of a hack director. I mean, this guy does not give a fuck about making a good movie, and it shows here. Like, this is, and I get it. We love Keanu Reeves, but we want to see Keanu Reeves in good movies. And thankfully, next year he'll have a really good movie in John Wick next year. But yeah, this is unbelievable. This is not a good movie, and it's pretty hard to see. It's not hard to see why. It's just not entertaining, man. It's just a bland, boring movie. The visuals are terrible. The storytelling makes no sense. The action isn't any good. It's a bad movie. It's a bad movie. So let's go ahead and get back to some good stuff again. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next film, which is Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro in Grudge Match.
The video of your fight is going viral. You don't know what I mean by going viral. What type of too out of touch, old?
Hey.
I got a company that wants the official rematch. They're gonna pay you $100,000.
Not worth it.
What do you mean it ain't worth it? I'm looking at your house. Boom, boom, boom. Grudge midday.
Your moves, they bounce when you jump. It's like bad Baywatch.
Bang, bang, bang.
You're just here to buy a little dinner. You don't have to punch everything. Hey, Webster, show a little respect.
I choose to believe you just called me Webster because of my vocabulary.
No, it's because you're short and black.
What was Jesus like? I'm curious. Was he cool?
Rated PG-13.
Because somewhere out there, somebody was waiting for that crossover of Rocky Balboa and Jake LaMotta. In this movie, you have boxers Henry Razor Sharp, played by Sylvester Stallone, and Billy the Kid McDonough, played by Robert De Niro, who become rivals after 2 fights, one of which Kid beats Razor and the other in which Razor beats Kid. Before they have a rematch, Razor announces his retirement, ruining both of their careers. Years later, Razor is working in a shipyard when he's visited by a promoter, played by Kevin Hart, who wants Razor to promote a motion capture performance for a video game. Razor begrudgingly accepts $15,000 needed to renovate his house, and at the recording studio he is surprised by Kid, who is also invited by Slate. And the two of them get their fight, damage the studio equipment before being arrested. Cell phone footage of the fight is uploaded to YouTube and goes viral, giving Slate the idea of organizing a final fight between Razor and Kid, which he calls a grudge match. And this film obviously got a lot of bad rap from a lot of people. It was not a big hit when it came out, and, you know, it's a shame because it's not that bad, far from it. I actually think it's a very enjoyable movie, but then again, that's what Peter Siegel does. This director, of course, I've touched on him before. He's one of those comfort food directors. Like, he makes movies that are just simply fun comedies. I mean, he made 2 really two of my favorite comedies, Naked Gun 33 and a Third and Tommy Boy. He also directed the surprisingly funny My Fellow Americans. He just did Get Smart, Anger Management, 50 First Dates, The Longest Yard. His only real stumble was Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps, and even then, it wasn't that bad of a movie. It was just a major disappointment compared to the first film. And this one really is a fun movie. It's not the greatest movie ever, but it's a movie where it simply just lets you have fun with what they're doing here. And I had a good time watching it. There was a lot of problems with it. Like, there's a lot of it that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And it's just like, it's another one of those things, like Without the Furnace. It's a Pittsburgh movie. I'm a sucker for these type of films overall. Plus, the trailers make it seem like Kevin Hart is in the movie a lot, but he isn't in this movie as much as Stallone and De Niro are. Kevin Hart's in there, but he's not in there for the majority of the film. Like, he doesn't have a big part in this movie that makes you think he does. And don't get me wrong, I like Kevin Hart overall, and I want the guy to have a big career, and luckily he did after this. And, just 2 months later, he'd be in a much better comedy that came out called About Last Night, but we'll touch on that in a couple months from now. But I thought Hart was pretty good, but the trailers really put the focus on him in this, even though there's nothing about him in it. There's not even a big thing in this movie, a big role for him in this movie in general. But there is a part where the Stallone's character does call off the fight, and it makes you think that which makes everybody antsy at him. But then 2 minutes later, he just agrees to do the fight again. So it's like it's killing time by doing something that feels 100% pointless. Like, it literally, we had a movie earlier in the year, Equestria Girls, which kind of did the same thing, where there's a whole segment that could have easily been cut out. It feels unnecessary to add to the movie, but we need to add 10 minutes to the storyline here. Like, I don't get why this is doing that, considering that this movie's already over 100 minutes long, so what's the point of adding that? But those are some of the bad things. But the good things about it is that Stallone and De Niro are great together. I like what they do here. I mean, none of them blew the great chemistry they shared in Copland and transfer that over to here. Wink, wink. Because, De Niro told Stallone, you blew it in Copland. But they're both really good in here. Kim Basinger's good for the role she's given in here. She's kind of doing a mix between Adrian and Vicky from Rocky and Raging Bull. John Barathol is very good playing De Niro's son. Alan Arkin's got some good fun moments in Stallone's friend. I like that banter between him and Kevin Hart in the trailer, but it works really well. It's very made, and it is kind of suspenseful to watch. We don't get a bullshit ending like we got from Joe Somebody, where Tim Allen and Patrick Warburton are going to have this fight in the end, and then they basically decide, let's not fight, let's just go home. It's just like, why are we even here then? We don't get that. We do get a legitimate fight, and the conclusion is a good conclusion. We get another movie that just decides to end quickly, and it's a movie where that's the one thing I will say about it. It's a movie where the conclusion is good. I wish the ending didn't end so rapidly. I really wish that this film got a proper ending, but no, the fight happens, we're done, movie's over, thanks for watching, good night. And it's just like, come on, man, but despite all that, Grudge Match is a fun movie. It's a fun, good time. If you ever wanted to see Rocky and Jake LaMotta going at each other, this is the movie that does it for you. And it's not meant to be taken seriously. It's a good, fun time. I enjoyed it. Grudge Match is a fun film overall. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie. Going back to some crap that nobody really wants to see. Here's Justin Bieber's Believe.
He went from the kid on YouTube to worldwide arena veteran.
There's a lot of expectation on him.
He's constantly being judged.
Everybody's trying to tear him apart.
Are you aware that you could be the next train wreck?
At the end of the day, I make music. I want to inspire fans. They're who I do this for.
Justin Bieber's Believe.
Why does he always lose his shirt? You knew that was coming.
Rated PG. In theaters Christmas Day.
So here's that movie that everyone thought Never Say Never was going to be, except it's literally a sequel because the first film was such a success. The sequel to Never Say Never continues to focus on Bieber's rise to international fame as he embarks on his Believe tour. In new interviews with Bieber, the movie reveals long-awaited answers to questions about his passion to make music, relationships, and coming of age in the spotlight, as well as never-before-seen concert footage and behind-the-scenes access. It features interviews with Justin's mother, Patty, mentor Usher Raymond, manager Scott Braun, recording artist Ludacris, as well as others. And really, the biggest problem with the movie is the fact that it literally does nothing new that we hadn't seen in Never Say Never. Like, literally, you don't learn anything new about Justin Bieber that you didn't already know from Never Say Never. This feels absolutely pointless. It's a cash grab because the first film was such a success. And yeah, this movie is pretty lame. Like, I gave Never Say Never a pass because they actually did some stuff with it that actually did kind of make it enjoyable. But here, it's just nothing more of the same thing over and over again. It's just like, you know, everyone's talking about, you're never going to make it. You're never going to do this. It's just kind of like, come on, man. We just did this in the last movie. Just move on. And just like, yeah, it just doesn't work overall. The first one you can give a pass to because it was actually doing something unique with it. But this is just repeating the same thing over and over again. And it just didn't work. So yeah. So that's Justin Bieber's Believe. Just watch Never Say Never and you'll be good to go. But with all that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is August, Osage County.
I'm here. Your father disappeared. This is a complex mother-daughter story.
Every family has its secrets.
He walked out this door. Maybe he needed some time away from you. Oh, that's nice of you to say.
None as wickedly hilarious as these.
Mom smuggled a bottle of Darkset in her. You want to search me? No. Audiences see in this story their own family. Couldn't be this bad. Eat the fish. Are we breaking things now?
August, Osage County, rated R.
Yeah, like I said, the Weinstein Company didn't have a great award slate in 2013. This is based off of a Pulitzer Prize-winning play by Tracy Letts, and this is directed by John Wells, one of the creators of Shameless and one of the people that worked on ER. It stars an ensemble cast that includes Meryl Streep, Julia Roberts, Ewan McGregor, Chris Cooper, Abigail Breslin, Benedict Cumberbatch, Juliette Lewis, Margot Martindale, Dermot Mulroney, Juliana Nicholson, and Misty Upham as a dysfunctional family that reunites at the family home when the patriarch, Sam Shepard, suddenly disappears. And yeah, Sam Shepard, it makes sense for him to be in a movie like this, because this film really does feel like some of his works of the past. Like, Sam Shepard's, of course, made some movies back in the day that were very similar to this. I'm trying to remember which ones ones in particular. It was, let me see if I can find it here. Why can't I find it? Like, the film that comes mostly to mind is Far North, and is a movie that really did not work at all. And this one is slightly better than that, but even then, it's not a very good movie overall. It's a pretty lame movie, honestly. You know, it's a movie that's trying to be like a mix between what Sam Shepard used to do back in the day and stuff like Steel Magnolias. Yeah, the acting is great in this. Of course it is, because you got acting royalty, people like, you know, Meryl Streep and Julia Roberts, but you gotta give them something bit more to do besides a movie that's basically nothing but watching a family argue for an hour and a half. It's just like, give us something more than that. And yeah, this movie, it didn't do it for me. It's a movie that I thought was kind of boring. There was nothing funny about it. There was nothing really emotional about these relationships in general. It just really fell apart on all types of levels, and it just never really did anything for me. Like, give me something entertaining here. I just didn't see it with this movie in particular. And, you know, with a movie like this that has Meryl Streep and Julia Roberts, along with a cast that includes Benedict Cumberbatch and Ewan McGregor and Juliette Lewis, you gotta give me something more than this. And it just never came with this movie, unfortunately. It just wasn't good for me. And yeah, it wasn't a good film overall. I really didn't like it. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie here, and it's definitely a much better movie than August, Osage County, Lone Survivor.
Brothers, there's a drive inside of me, and I can never forget. Because of them, anything was possible. We're good, right? We're solid. See? God's looking out for us.
Shot me. We're all shot, bro. Can you fight?
I can fight.
Lone Survivor, rated R.
Or as most people like to think of it, Peter Berg's apology for Battleship. And as I like to think of it, Mark Wahlberg's apology for Two Guns. This movie is definitely better than those two movies, easily. This is based off the failed mission of Operation Red Wings, which tasked 4 members of SEAL Team 10, played by Mark Wahlberg, Taylor Kitsch. By the way, Taylor Kitsch, apology for him, too, because, you know, of course, Battleship and John Carter. Here's a much better movie for him, Emil Hirsch and Ben Foster. On June 28, 2005, to kill Taliban leader Ahmad Shah. They were quickly compromised and under attack. Peter Berg's directorial career has been mostly a good one. We've talked about a lot of his really good films, Very Bad Things, The Rundown, Friday Night Lights, The Kingdom, and Hancock. Battleship was easily the worst film he'd done, and he basically is, this movie was essentially a film that was basically made because he made Battleship, and he said it that this movie was made because they wanted him to do Battleship, and the only way he could get this movie done is if he did that film. So that's the one thing you got to give Battleship credit for. Had that movie not exist, this film would never been made. And there's been a lot of good war movies in the last couple of years. Zero Dark 30, The Hurt Locker, The Kingdom. This is a really, really solid film. This movie has a lot of stuff I really like about it. Mark Wahlberg, I thought, was great as Marcus Luttrell. Giving probably his best performance of his career, Taylor Kitsch was really good in a movie here. And he was actually really solid in this. The guy's not a bad actor, but man, he had a lot of really bad films in 2012 that really kind of dampened his career. Because he was also in Savages, too. I just realized that. Emil Hirsch is really good. Ben Foster's really good here. You got good casting from Eric Bana, Alexander Ludwig. I thought Yusuf Azami playing Ahmad Shah was really good in this movie. He was really sadistic in this. The war scenes are nicely handled with blood effects that are very realistic. But then again, when you have somebody like Greg Nicotero from The Walking Dead working on the makeup and blood, yeah, of course it's going to look good. That does, however, lead to some of the problems with the movie. And the reason why I don't think it's as good as some of the more recent war films, the entire second act is about the 4 Navy SEALs surviving the attack from the Taliban. And while the blood effects and violence are nicely done, there comes a point in the middle where it does get a little bit boring because nothing is happening. It's mostly the same stuff we saw in the first half in general. It takes up a majority of the film's runtime. We also have a pointless scene where Eric Bana leads a helicopter of soldiers who try to save the SEALs, but then they get blown up, and it's just kind of the way they built it up make it seem like we're going to reach the end of the movie, and yet they're all dead within a matter of minutes. It's like something out of Tropic Thunder when Steve Coogan gets blown off by that landmine. But that's a comedy. This is supposed to be a real serious situation here, and what's with all the beards in the SEALs? I swear to God, about 80% of the people in the SEALs all have beards of different kinds. Even though the people in real life didn't even have the beards. It's just kind of you can tell that because they actually showed the people, and most of them didn't have beards. It's just what the heck? It's just, I don't know. That's my personal thing about that. But this is definitely a movie I can watch over and over again, because I would not go out of my way to consider in the same veins as something like Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, Hurt Locker, Kingdom, Zero Dark 30, all those movies. But Peter Berg clearly knows what he's doing with this, and this is a movie where it's clear that this is a much better put-together film than Battleship was. A good mix of practical effects and CG effects. I wish the movie was better, but it actually was, but its biggest flaw is that the war scene does go on too long. There's a lot of inaccuracies, pointless scenes that run on too long, but it's a movie that I would still definitely say it's more than worth the watch. I would highly recommend it. It's definitely a lot better than Battleship, which is something that you can't. It's really not saying a whole lot, but after watching Battleship and knowing that this is the film that had to be made, that he was trying to get this made for, I'm misleading you on this. What I'm saying is that knowing that this was the film that was Peter Berg wanted to make, so he had to make Battleship. It kind of makes Battleship's existence a little more okay now, because we got a much better movie with this. But yeah, I'm just rambling on right now. Lone Survivor, pretty good movie overall. So with all that said, we have wrapped up 2013. I wish we could have done it on a much more positive note here, but the last couple of days have not been so kind to me. But next time around, we jump into 2014. We've got Paranormal Activity, the Mark ones, and then I've got my list of movies here we'll take a look at, including a couple of HBO movies, Phil Spector, Beyond the Candelabra. We got The Brass Teapot, The Canyons, Clear History, Larry David movie. We also have our DC films, Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 2, Superman Unbound, and also Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox. So we'll take a look at all those movies. Hopefully we'll get to them tomorrow, pending on what happens with the electricity and all that. But hopefully I can survive this until Tuesday. But even then, I don't even think that's a guarantee. But with all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. With all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.